Hey everyone, off the Mike Sports Network here. So I haven't really talked a lot of Cavs because didn't really think that the series was very interesting with the Heat, aside from Game Two where the Cavs only won by 9 points, but they were up by double digits in that one. The Cavs sweep the Heat. Um, I mean, listen, man, like they won by 55 points tonight against the Miami Heat. 138 to 83 is your final score. They were up by 60 in this game. Like this was not even competitive. And if you would have thought that this was even worse. The last game they kind of broke the Heat. They won by 37. They almost won by 40. They won by 55 here. And if you calculate the number and the total of the entire series, because here's the entire series for you guys. Game one, 121, 100 Cavs. Game two, 121, 112. They scored more than 121 points in every single game of this series. So 121 to 112 in game two, 124, 87 in game three, and 138 to 83, where they literally didn't even play a single starter, probably past like the midway portion of the third quarter. Like nobody played more than 25 minutes in this game. This was a joke. But we need to start, like, remember when we were having this discussion about, okay, is it going to be Boston? Is it a foregone conclusion that it's Boston and Oklahoma City meeting in the finals? I think we need to revisit the discussion that the Cavs can absolutely win the championship. I understand that, Miami is a play-in team. They were the 10th seed. They've played their way in. This was bound to happen. But there's a difference between being a one seed and controlling, like, what the Cavs and what the Thunder have done. Because the Thunder won one of their games by 50 points. So this is what you're supposed to do when you face a play-in team and you just murder them. And the Cavs went into Miami and just took the Heat's soul. Like, Eric Spoelstra is a good coach. You knew that the Heat were not really supremely talented. They had Bam Adebayo, they had Andrew Wiggins and Tyler Hero. They had one game where they got the game to within two and they couldn't hit a shot down the stretch. And that was really the game. And then the Cavs, after falling behind early in game three, they mentally broke the Heat. And Jared Allen is playing as well as I've ever seen him. He has clearly taken the last two postseasons really personally in terms of him getting, beaten up. And we'll see how it works out when they inevitably go. And they're going to have to face potentially a pretty decent group of bigs with Indiana. Obviously, Miles Turner is very experienced and he can shoot from the perimeter. So that's going to be an interesting matchup if that's what it becomes. I highly doubt it's going to be Milwaukee. Milwaukee is down 3-1 and they just lost Damian Lillard for the season. And maybe that might be the end of Damian Lillard's career. But the Cavs, like I said, they won by I didn't even give you guys the actual number. I ran through the score, but if you go back to, and I run through the score for the series, the Cavs were plus 122 in this series. Plus 122. That is an NBA record. They did not just beat the Miami Heat. They murdered the Miami Heat. This was absolutely not competitive. And I think we shouldn't be surprised, but I think we do not see this level of dominance. Really, like, I mean, yeah, there's teams that are superior. Like, and we saw it in Oklahoma City, but you do not see this level of efficiency. You don't see a team scoring more than 120 points in every single game. Like, the Cavs are a problem, and I think people have forgotten because the Cavs kind of just coasted near the end of the season, and they still ended up getting the one seed, and everybody's just assuming that Boston, because they're the defending champs and they've got basically their entire roster back, that they're gonna walk over. I'm here to tell you, the Cavs are coming. The Cavs can absolutely win the championship, and this was a reminder to everybody: do not fuck around. Because you're going to find out that the Cleveland Cavaliers are a legitimate threat to win the NBA championship, not just this year, but at least next year. They're going to have to figure out some things to bring back Ty Jerome, and they're going to have to figure out some things to bring back some other players that might be free agents. But the core of this team is locked up for the significant future, for the foreseeable future. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this gets managed moving forward because they're going to have extended time off. Granted, Indiana's probably going to close out their series. I can't remember if it's Tuesday or Wednesday, but they're going to probably close out their series at home in 5 games. And it's going to be Indiana and the Cavs. And that's going to be a competitive series. I think that can go at least 6 games, maybe 7. Because Indiana is a problem. They are very deep. They're very talented. They have a lot of experience from being to the Eastern Conference Finals a year ago. So I wouldn't want to mess around with them. But let's be real. This is really, like, everybody who had been kind of dismissing the Cavs and basically just forgetting about the Cavs It's because this team had just been coasting through the rest of the season. Mind you, the last two games of this series where they won by again 37 and 55, which is almost friggin' they almost won by a combined 100 points. Like Darius Garland, who's probably their second or third best player, was not playing. And they still just dominated and just thoroughly ran through. Granted, an inferior team, but this is what you're supposed to do when you're the one seed and the second best team in the entire NBA record wise. So credit to Kenny Atkinson, credit to the Cavs. A lot of people were thinking maybe Miami could make this a little bit interesting because of their past track record, but let's not forget Jimmy Butler isn't there. And you know, I'm not, and Eric Spoelstra is a good coach, and he was just dumbfounded and just called it embarrassing in his post game press conference after game 4. But you know, just this was a message to the rest of the league that the Cavs are coming. They can absolutely win the NBA championship. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you guys soon.